TG, let's get down to it. How do you perform a J-turn for the screen? DA, start in reverse. Accelerate up to approximately 35 miles per hour or slower, depending on the area in which this will be performed. The slower you go, the more difficult. Then turn the steering wheel to the left and the front end will start to come around. Once you're facing the opposite direction, bump the shift lever into drive, and continue on. The best cars for this are ones that have the shift lever on the steering column. TG, and how about the ultimate 360-degree spin? DA, a 360 spin isn't all that difficult. The easiest cars to do it in are those with a manual gearbox and a handbrake. The best way is to start at a standstill, then start driving in circles, making the circle smaller and smaller. Once the wheel is locked, increase your speed. You should be doing or attempt to be doing a perfect circle. Don't allow the car to understeer. Step on the clutch and pull the handbrake. As soon as the rear end slides, release the handbrake. Just simply take your foot off the gas pedal when you want to exit the spin and release the clutch, then straighten out the wheel simultaneously. TG, in your opinion, what are the best base cars to set up for stunt driving? Rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive or floor, and why? DA, in my opinion, the best cars are either the full-size cars, like the Ford Crown Victoria, or smaller-sized cars, like Mini Coopers or the like. Rear-wheel drive vehicles handle better spins and J-turns, while the smaller vehicles are best for drifting. Any vehicle can be used as a stunt vehicle, to be honest, provided the driver has the training and talent. TG, what's the one piece of advice you can give to an aspiring stunt driver? DA, my best piece of advice for those wanting to do stunts is training. Seek out professional stunt folks, and start out by watching them perform their craft. Ask questions. Then find a stunt school to attend. Most people don't just jump into performing stunts. It takes time, training, money, and practice. One of the better schools here in the US is the Rick Seaman School. Always think safety first. Don't attempt to perform any stunt work without professional training. Every stunt has its own particular level of danger. Even the smallest of stunts can and do go wrong. TG, which actors have you worked with who are really handy behind the wheel, and why? DA, I've worked on several different movies. Aaron Paul from Need for Speed was very hands-on. As was Ben Affleck, on The Accountant. They took an interest in how the stunt was going to be performed, and watched. TG, which single film car stunt stands out for you as a personal favorite, and why? DA, the best stunt I've watched being performed was a car jump on Need for Speed. They launched a car up onto a ramp that was on a bridge. The car flew up into the air off the ramp and landed almost exactly where it was supposed to be. Being there in person was incredible. Of course the car was destroyed, but it sure made for an awesome scene. Too Fast Too Furious 130. Unsurprisingly, we kick off with a Fast and Furious themed entry, only the second film in the series with a relatively pedestrian 130 cars totaled during filming. Some decent motors on display in the movie, including a Mazda RX-7, R34 GTR and a Honda S2000, all performing impossible feats of acrobatics. A nice family of cars, you might never say. A good day to Die Hard 132. Any Die Hard movies that came after the original Die Hard were strictly unnecessary after the first one, though the fifth entry certainly brought some serious machinery, and promptly annihilated it. Stuff like a G-Wagon, Unimog and a custom-built military truck simply known as the MRAP. Oh, and a few E65 BMW 7s. You might like the Junkman 150, the What Now? The second of director H.B. Halicki's trilogy of car movies, a trilogy that included the original Gone in 60 Seconds, and one that goes a bit meta, films within a film, Anyone. Halicki apparently used his own car collection for the movie. Ouchie. Before the series really ramped up, the spectacle came the fourth installment, the 190 real cars being totaled in the service of a film that made gajillions at the box office is nothing to be sniffed at. Laugh all you want, but you have to admire the sheer chutzpah of a film that happily throws fully built, customized cars out of a cargo plane for a few minutes worth of footage. Real cars. Zero CGI. Everyone was shocked when they found out we threw real cars out of the plane, car coordinator Dennis McCarthy told TopGear.com at the time. Quite a few real cars, as it turns out. The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift 249. The fast connoisseur's choice, this one, dealing as it does with Japan's drift scene. Indeed, it can count one Christopher Nolan as a fan. Just imagine a Nolan-based FF movie who prefers its original recipe. Yes, it's cheesy. Yes, it's still a fun watch. Fast 5 260. The fifth installment of the Fast and Furious franchise was a bit of a game-changer for the series, moving away from the car-heavy movies that came before to a more obvious blockbuster heist philosophy that has served it very well indeed. Though, not the poor cars that have been destroyed along the way.